The sharp smell of antiseptic cut through the cold, white halls of the hospital, wrapping everything in a clinical chill. Beeps from the machines formed a quiet rhythm, like the fragile pulse of lives hanging in the balance. Outside the maternity ward, a young woman pressed her hands against her swollen belly, her fingers trembling as they traced the faint stretch marks that marked the months of hope and anticipation. Her name was Maya, and today was meant to be magical, the day she finally became a mother. But instead of joy, fear knotted her chest. Arjun, her husband, hadn't answered her calls for 3 long days. The whispers she'd brushed off as rumors, the photos she'd stumbled across showing him with another woman, they were no longer distant shadows. They were real, and they were here. Just as Maya sank into her hospital bed, trying to steady her racing heart, the door slammed open. A tall woman in a striking red coat stormed inside, her eyes flashing with fury. "You think you can trap him with this baby?" she hissed, venom dripping from every word. Before Maya could even react, the woman shoved her hard. She tumbled back, a tray of gleaming instruments clattering to the floor, metal ringing against tile. Pain shot through her body not just from the fall, but from the roar, cutting betrayal in the stranger's eyes. And then it hit her. She knew that face, Nisha Arjun's mistress, the woman he'd hidden from her. Maya screamed, clutching her stomach as nurses swarmed in, trying to pull Nisha back. But the mistress was loud, sharp, and cruel. "You're pathetic. He never loved you. You're just a burden." Every word sliced through the air, echoing down the corridor like nails on a chalkboard. As security dragged Nisha away, still shrieking, Maya lay there, shaking, tears blurring her vision. How had everything she believed in crumbled so quickly? Arjun had once been her whole world, the man who used to leave her little notes, surprise her with flowers, make her laugh until her cheeks hurt, and now he was a stranger, a ghost she couldn't reach. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, your support means the world. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to help stories like Maya's reach more hearts. He was the man who had cooked her favorite meals on rainy nights, who promised he'd love her in every lifetime, no matter what. But ever since the promotion at his construction firm, Arjun had changed. He stayed out late, ignored her messages, and when he finally came home, the scent of expensive perfume clung to him, mingling with something she couldn't name, guilt, maybe, or betrayal. Still, Maya held on. She told herself that once the baby arrived, things would turn around. Love, real love, she believed, could fix anything, even a heart cracked wide open. But lying in the hospital bed, aching and exhausted, the chaos Nisha had brought still echoing in her mind, that belief began to slip. The nurses worked with practiced urgency, checking her vitals and helping her through the early labor. Her contractions had started sooner than expected, triggered by shock and stress. She clenched her teeth through each wave of pain, whispering over and over, "Please, God, let my baby be safe." She didn't care about Arjun anymore, not really. All that mattered was this tiny life growing inside her. Then, after what felt like an eternity, a fragile cry pierced the room. A boy, tiny, perfect, and breathtaking. When the nurse placed him in Maya's arms, something inside her softened and shifted. Every tear, every betrayal, every moment she had doubted love, it all seemed to dissolve in that one miraculous moment. She named him Ava, meaning peaceful, because, in the middle of her storm, he was her calm. But peace, Maya realized, would not come easily. The next morning, She held her sleeping son close, the warmth of him against her chest, grounding her. A nurse entered, hesitating. "Someone's outside asking to see you," she said quietly. "It's your husband." Maya's chest tightened. She wanted to say no, to send him away, to protect this fragile moment. But something, curiosity, or maybe the last flicker of love, made her stay. Arjun stepped into the room, his presence heavy with guilt. His hair was messy, his face pale, as though he had aged years in a single night. "Maya," he began, voice breaking. "I didn't know," but she didn't let him finish. She didn't answer. She just cradled their son, staring down at the little life that had already changed everything. For the first time, she didn't see the man who had once written her love notes or made her laugh until her cheeks hurt. She saw a stranger who had destroyed her peace. He reached for her hand, but she pulled back. "Go," she whispered, her voice trembling yet steady. "You've done enough." Arjun left without a single word, disappearing like smoke in the wind. Days blurred into weeks, and slowly, painstakingly, Maya began to piece herself back together. Her parents helped her move home. Her mother, a retired nurse, stayed awake through endless nights, guiding her through the newborn fog. Her father, quiet and steady, was her silent fortress. Raghav, Singh, once a respected army officer, known in town for his courage and unyielding will, rarely spoke of his past, but his presence alone demanded respect. He didn't need words to protect her. The way he stood, the calm strength in his eyes, was enough. One golden afternoon, as Maya sat in the garden gently feeding Arv, her father came and rested a hand on her shoulder. His voice was soft, yet firm. "A storm doesn't last forever, Beta, but when it passes, you'll see who truly stood beside you." The words sank deep. Maya realized that love wasn't about grand gestures, promises, or fleeting sweetness. It was about resilience, about standing strong when everything else crumbled. She felt a flicker of hope for the first time in weeks. But storms, she was learning, rarely end quietly. A few weeks later, a crisp envelope arrived from the hospital. Maya's stomach twisted as she read it. Nisha, the woman who had shattered her world, had filed a legal complaint, claiming Maya had assaulted her during their hospital confrontation. Shock, disbelief, and anger coiled inside her. She had been the one attacked. Yet this woman dared to rewrite reality. Her father's jaw tightened as he read over her shoulder. "We'll handle this," he said, voice low and resolute. The court hearing came quickly. The courthouse buzzed with whispers the moment Maya and her father stepped inside. Across the room, Nisha sat like a queen, designer clothes pressed perfectly, a smug smile on her face. Her lawyer painted her as the wronged partier, poor, humiliated woman crushed by a jealous wife. Maya felt her chest tighten, a storm of fury and fear mingling inside her. Every word, every carefully twisted detail made her stomach churn. When the judge finally called her name, she rose, heart hammering, the weight of weeks of injustice on her shoulders. She took a deep breath, clutching Arve's tiny blanket for courage. Now it was her turn to speak. Maya stood trembling, but she refused to cry. Her hands gripped the edges of the chair, knuckles white. "I didn't touch her," she said, voice steady despite the fear. "I was 9 months pregnant. She came to the hospital. She attacked me. All I did was protect my child." Nisha smirked, rolling her eyes. "Lies," she muttered, her arrogance thick in the air. But then, something unexpected happened. The judge looked up from his papers. "Mrs. Singh," You've mentioned your father several times, he said. Would you please confirm his full name? Raghav Singh, Maya replied softly. A hush fell over the courtroom. The judge's eyes widened as recognition struck him. Colonel Raghav Singh, recipient of the National Bravery Medal. Nisha's face drained of color. Her lawyer stammered, Your Honor, that's irrelevant. But the judge wasn't listening. His gaze bore into Nisha. Do you understand what you've done? You attacked a pregnant woman, the daughter of a decorated officer who has served this nation with honor. There are eyewitnesses, hospital reports, and security footage all confirming her story. Nisha froze. Her confidence melted into sheer terror. She looked at Maya, lips trembling, as if seeing her for the first time. The courtroom waited. The judge slammed his gavel. Case dismissed. Restraining order issued against the defendant. Maya walked out, her head held high, arm in her father's steady grip. Reporters swarmed, murmuring, That's Colonel Singh's daughter. And for the first time, Maya understood the full weight of those words. She wasn't just a betrayed wife, a broken woman. She was the daughter of a hero, and now she would stand tall, too. Days turned into a rhythm of hope. Maya focused on her son, Arv. She began teaching art to children at a local school. Her hands, once shaking with fear, now painted colors of hope. Her laughter returned, soft and genuine. Arav's smile became her morning light, the little spark that kept her going. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Maya's phone buzzed. A message from Arjun, short, hesitant. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I've lost everything, my job, my respect, and you. I just want to see my son once. Maya stared at the screen. Once, she would have run to him. But now, she was different. She typed one line, steady and unwavering. He will know his father not by your mistakes, but by the strength his mother learned from them, and she never looked back. Months later, Maya spoke at a women's empowerment charity event, sharing her journey. In the audience, she noticed someone sitting quietly, Nisha, eyes downcast, filled with remorse. After the event, Nisha approached cautiously. I wanted to apologize, she said, voice trembling. I didn't know who you were, who your father was. Maya met her gaze calmly. You didn't need to know who my father was, she said. You just needed to know what kindness meant.